Hey everybody, Hunter back again from Showtime Studios. We're going to do part number 26 of the build tutorial. We're getting a lot of parts in this series. And again, I want to thank everybody for following along, and a lot of people are looking forward to the next part. So, to tell you the truth, on this build, I'm looking forward to the last one. So, it's a finished build, and it'll be the first one for 2018. That'll be a good thing. And if I get it all done, and everything comes out and it's a finished build, it'll be my first street rod. So that's cool. We're shooting for it. The videos seem to be going good. Everybody's interested. So we're going to continue along with it. So what we're going to do in this one is we've got most of the gaps from what I can see right now, looking pretty good. We still need to get everything in primer. Of course, you can see all the sanded spots and everything we have on the body. We need to get it in a full coat of primer. But the last issue that I see right now is we have a step at the cowl and the hood. And you can see it right there. You can see the blunt edge of the cowl is sticking up above the actual hood. So what we're going to do is go in and do a little bit of tweaking on that. Now we have the side trim lined up. I'm real happy with that. That looks pretty decent. And it's mainly just the center part of the cowl right here that we need to take care of. So we're going to take that, set it over to the side. I'm going to come in with the number 11 blade. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to slowly drag that blade across the front edge of this cowl. And we're trying to take down, actually take off a fair amount of plastic right here at right where it touches the hood, to make sure that we get all this blended in and looking good when it's done. Especially with the color that I picked out for this would show up real bad. Not as bad as, if you set it on the shelf with the hood off of it, but if you're displaying it with the hood on it, you're really going to see this. So I'm just going in, and as you can see, I'm just that is what we're up to right now. I'm sliding the blade across there and making that, actually reducing the height of the cowl a little bit. And a lot of times you don't need to take a whole lot off to make these things line up and look the way you want them to look. But it does take a little bit of time, a little bit of practice, a little bit of patience to make this stuff come out. So now we're going to set it back on. We're going to line up the chrome trim down the side, and we're going to line it up on the other side and see how much more we need to take off. And we still need to go a fair amount more off of it. So we're going to continue that process. And as you can see, we're starting to get a little bit wider on this line right here. And as you drag this knife across here, it will work its way further back up onto the cowl. So you just want to keep dragging across it, even side to side. You don't want to do this one side and then come over and do this side, because you don't have the same amount of passes and you could have a height difference, and you don't want that. So we're just coming across and making just shaving it down. You'll notice how wide this is starting to get. That means that we're shaving further back onto the plastic, onto the cowl itself. And this is all just initial rough work. You're going to have some lines in it. Make sure that you're controlling your knife and you don't gouge it up here into the windshield wipers or anything like that. You don't want to mess up your detail up there. So we're going to do another fit on it again, another dry fit, and we're getting close. We're going to take a little bit more off of this. And what I like to do is get it down real close with the knife, and then we can sneak up on it the rest of the way with our sanding stick. And we're going to check it again. That's another thing when you're doing this type of stuff, you know, keep checking it. You know, always keep a check on your progress so that you don't go too far. We're looking pretty good there. Now, if we were to leave it just like this, what would happen is the cowl would come over and then it would drop off all of a sudden. And you don't want that. So what we want to do is we want to go in and we want to blend where we have shaved down the cowl. We want to blend that wedge that we've created now back into the cowl area. And how you do that is basically just go back here with the sanding stick, and all you're going to do is just tape that taper off right at the end of this primer here where it turns white. You want to get that blended all the way back as far as you can up next to those windshield wipers. And this is where primer comes in handy. This is where I do use primer a lot. A lot of people kind of freak out when I say I don't use primer on my models. If I'm doing any type of work like this, definitely recommend primer. It helps show your body work, shows where your trouble spots are left. And if you have to do any of this modifying or whatever, definitely go ahead and prime it before you move on to paint. But if you didn't have to do all this, most of the time I do not prime a bare body. If it looks good after I clean the mold lines and everything up, it goes straight into paint. But we're just working it down now. Again, we're going to go back and check and make sure that we're not down too far. And we're starting to look pretty good. So we're going to continue. Actually, I was using the heavy grit there. I'm going to flip over to the gray side, and we're going to go ahead and do some more sanding to get those heavy scratches out. And like I say, when you're doing this, just, you know, be careful that you're not taking out your detail up here on your wipers. And as you get over here to the side, make sure that you roll it down the sides of the body so you don't have a sharp line over here. Try to keep the sanding stick as flat as you can on this so you're taking off an even amount as you're sanding. And you don't have a whole bunch of ups and downs in it. You don't want that. So basically all we're doing is just reshaping the cowl. We're making it a little bit thinner, and we're getting rid of that hideous step that's in it. And out through the center, we are looking real good. Over here on this edge, I think we need to come down a little bit more. So I'm going to go ahead and switch back over to the black. And now you can sand more in one spot, because what you're doing now is just fine tuning a certain area. You've already got most of this pretty good. You just need to take this down a little bit more. Don't go over the whole thing, because then you're going to continue to reduce it. So you're going to be down too low here and still be probably a little high over here. So we're just going to sand right there in that one spot that was our trouble area and reduce that. And then we're going to check the fit of it again. And let's see if we can hold it up here and get a view of it. You can see how much better we're looking already. I mean, it looks a whole lot better. Now, I do notice that as far as the curve, we are pretty good. We're pretty good there. Looks decent. We're going to go ahead and do a little bit more sanding on that with the gray. And then we're going to switch over to the blue sanding stick. And do the final cleanup on it and get it ready to go into primer. Now, the one thing that I haven't done yet that I need to do, get the right end of the sanding stick here, is I'm going to come in here on this vertical, and I'm going to clean up this line and make it just a little bit sharper. on the front of the cowl. And that should help us with blending all this in and not even being able to know that this was done when you finish the model and you get paint and everything on it. You won't even know that this part was done. I'm down actually under the cowl right now. And I do see that we have some sink marks right along in here that we're going to have to fill, because we don't want to sand those all the way out. Let's see what we have now. Okay, I'm going to try to hold this up here and get a good view on it. There you go. You can see how well that line blended in now. Nice and clean. Looks real good. Still a little bit more sanding to do right here on the edges to blend all that together. But the main part of the bump is all out of there. The hood lines up with the cowl. Looks real nice. That's what you're after. So we'll set the body back over here. And we'll just set the hood into place loosely. Let me slide it over here in the view where everybody can see it. We'll put it over here. We're going to set the body on where it goes. We're going to slide the hood into position and see what we got there. There we go. You can see how clean that line is now, and we don't have a bump at the hood. So that's all there is to that. The next step, we're going to be over at the spray booth with that camera, and we're going to go ahead and get another full wet coat of primer down on this. We're going to do a mist coat on all the white parts, and then we're going to go in and we're going to do a full wet coat on it, because we're getting up close to the point of getting this thing ready for paint. So we want to go ahead and get enough primer down, so when we use our 3000 grit sanding sponge on it, we'll check the body work, make sure everything's smooth, but we won't be cutting through the primer, and then we'll be ready for paint. So that's all we've got for this one. Like always, I thank you for watching and all the interest in the tutorial series, and we'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.